What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the Girl Gains podcast. I'm Amber P.
I'm Alexis Nicole.
And today we're going to do a good old Ask the Girl Gains. We put up question boxes on all three of the Instagram accounts, and we're just going to go on through them and answer your questions. So we're going to kick it off with the first question. Thoughts on bikini bodybuilders teaching wellness posing? I don't really think it matters. It like if they're a bikini athlete, it's do they understand the posing and what it's supposed to
Yeah.
look like?
There's even men that teach wellness and bikini posing, and do a pretty decent job at it. Travell actually does a good job. So like it doesn't matter what division you are, but you need to understand it. And I think, and maybe this is where this question is stemming from, there is a misunderstanding that wellness posing is just like bikini posing, and it is not.
Oh, really? That's a thing?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no,
The
it's not.
flow is the same.
Yeah.
So it's very like model-esque as far as your presentation on stage. So I think that sometimes gets mixed up with it's the same, and the poses are very, very different. So as long as you have an understanding and you know what the poses look like, and you don't have to have competed in the division
Yeah.
to know it, but you definitely need to have studied it and gotten feedback from different, I would say, like, coaches. So, so if you were trying to do that, I would say, like, if the bikini athlete hasn't competed in wellness, they should have done their research. They should have gone to posing clinics and gotten with the wellness group and kind of done it themselves. Because especially, and one of the reasons I haven't tried teaching figure posing is you need to be able to get into the poses yourself.
That's it.
So,
That's
like,
why I don't do
when men
wellness.
teach it,
I
it looks
can't.
a little bizarre, but they can get into it and they can describe what they're doing with their physique to you to get you into it. So if your bikini posing coach can't get into the wellness poses, I would say big red flag. But just because they don't compete in wellness doesn't mean that they can't teach it.
Yeah. That's
Just
why
like I don't compete in fit model, but I can teach you the poses confidently.
exactly. That's why I don't teach wellness posing. I know what it's supposed to look like. Like I could say tweak this, tweak that, but I personally can't get into a quarter turn. I'm sure I could if I tried. This is like I can look at it and say, but no. But also, here's the other thing. This isn't to be shady. Just because someone is in the same division as you doesn't mean that they can teach posing.
Yeah, just because they're a good poser doesn't mean they can teach posing. You have to be a good teacher. You have to be able to figure out cues for different kinds of people for them to receive it and be able to implement it appropriately. I know good posers that can't teach. They do teach, and it doesn't come out very well. And then I know bad posers that are pros that also teach, and that's a worse situation.
Yeah,
So
and that's the first thing too. It's just kind of
like
like
when I started, and I think this is important for athlete coaching and posing coaching, when I first started, I didn't charge anybody.
right.
And that was like my biggest thing. Amber's the one who like encouraged me to start teaching posing. Was I don't want to get someone on stage less than what they're capable of. Now you can only do so much in so much time, but you shouldn't ever be overconfident in your skills in any area, and always know that it's ever evolving and it's always something that you can improve on. So if someone is a posing coach, you should look at their roster of athletes they've turned out, athletes they've put on stage, and what those athletes posing looks like as a whole. Don't just base it off one person. But if they don't have anyone they've got on stage, you also shouldn't be paying a buku bucks.
Yeah, and then check their own posing too, because that right there will tell you a lot of things. Like if they're kind of choppy and don't really have a
Yeah,
good
and
flow on
like
stage.
also understand that so when I have consults with athletes, a lot of times they're like, I love your posing and that's why I chose you. And that's great, but your posing might not look like mine. And it shouldn't, because you should be able to put your own twist on it. So my girls know that when we have consults, like we go over the basics first, and then Our motions kind of come with what their style is. We're not going for sexy if you're not a naturally sultry person.
Mhm.
It's just gonna look forced. And same thing with if you are naturally on the sexy side and you're trying to force cutesy, that's
Yeah.
also gonna look extremely awkward. So, base it off the clientele, base it off of how that person poses and how it is emitted on stage. Um, but know that yours should also look different.
Yeah, because there are just some things, like, that can't be duplicated. It's just that person's
Yeah.
vibe.
And it's ever evolving. So just because someone teaches you something doesn't mean it's always gonna stay that way. I had a posing client 2 days ago that I've posed for a couple seasons, and she showed me her routine from last year, and I was like, "Uh-uh." Like, I put that together, but I don't like it, so
Right.
I'm
No,
gonna
it
change it.
changes. Yeah, like, that was my big thing in 2023 where I had to, like, flip my posing because my body your body changes, right? So you have to adjust it. Like, same thing with you after Miami, you're like, okay, I gotta make some adjustments. And just as part of, the journey when you evolve. I was telling one of my clients last night because she's not local to me and she's brand new, and she was asking about posing, and she's asked me if it was okay if she got with someone that's local to her. And I said yes, just simply because I'm not the kind of person who's like, oh, well, if I'm coaching you, then you only do everything through me. No, because what I say, it might not click with you.
Yep.
And then I don't care what anyone says, especially when you're brand new, hands on is always going to be better than virtual.
Yeah, so, that's another thing. So, there's a happy medium here. You
Mhm.
do not need 5 posing coaches. That's gonna get you confused
Much.
and get everyone that's helping you confused.
Hmm.
Um, but it's okay to get a second opinion, or it's okay to, like, go to in-person posing clinics where you can kind of mimic the things that you can't do on FaceTime, um, or get someone to get their hands on you and, like, adjust you. I think you should have one primary person in your circle that's on your team helping you with posing, and then just bring those adjustments back to them. Like, I went to this clinic or I met with so and so and they adjusted this. What do you think? And then that's it should be a collaborative effort.
Yeah, that's what I do. So I'm pretty sure y'all know Alexis helps me with my posing exclusively. Like, that's who does it. And then, like, if Jordan sees something needs to be tweaked, she'll say it, but she hasn't tweaked anything in years. She's just like, nope, this is fine, keep going. So it's helped. Like, you don't want all these people. And then also, Alexis is really good. I'm just putting it out there. I'm not saying that because I'm biased, but she's like legit really good. So get with her if you need posing.
Thanks.
Welcome. Let's see. What are your go-to veggies that don't cause a ton of bloating and gas? Green beans.
Yeah. Green beans, cucumbers, actually.
Mm,
Side note, HEB is the best grocery store ever. It's
I can't
better
wait
than
to
like
go.
Wegmans. Huh?
I can't wait to go.
Martin is like giggling in there. Um, it's great. So there is a Kroger here. I go a little further to go to HEB.
Mhm.
But we went there yesterday to get some stuff because we fly out tonight and then we have a whole shenanigan of flights to different areas and the usual.
Just the
Um,
usual.
so I got cucumbers, but they have like pre-sliced cucumbers. So that's a little hack if you're in Texas and you have an HEB. That's a good place to go if you're in a pinch. They have like clean grilled chicken, um, already like just prepackaged. It's cooked. So if you're
Mhm.
in a situation where you're like, I need food and I don't really have time to prep it, you can go there. So I got pre-sliced cucumbers that taste better because someone else cut at them, and I'm excited about it.
I love that. That's hilarious. Lowe's gonna lose his mind. He's such like a grocery shopping person. I'm like, no, I don't want to walk the aisles. He's
He
going,
don't he would be this it's a big store.
oh God,
Yeah,
no.
they have, uh he said it's like Walmart, but Texas style, but that's like degrading HEB.
I did say Walmart. Hold on.
They do have, like, other things other than groceries that you
I
need in
got
there.
you.
You can pretty much get everything that you need, and they have what was I gonna say? Oh, my favorite, and I can still use them right now, is fresh tortillas, like still hot in like you
Duh.
can get like a 10 pack or a 20 pack, and they have like just regular flour ones, or my favorite ones are the butter ones. They're so good.
I love a good tortilla.
And they're so flavorful. Like I just do that
Yeah.
and my protein
Yeah.
and some
See,
salsa sometimes, and
yeah,
it's so
that's my vibe. That's my vibe all day. How to not feel guilty taking a lot of time off from the gym due to illness. I mean, if you're sick, like it's out of your control.
yeah, so I think this is probably something that I've changed my stance on. I used to say, which if it's just a cold,
Yeah,
I'm probably still going to the
for
gym.
sure.
However, you know that like when you have a cold and it's like you know it's coming, you think it's okay, and then there's one day that's like really sucky, take that day off. You don't need to take a whole week for a cold. But if you are like sick, it's gonna do you more damage to go and train and lengthen your cold and keep your immune system down because you're causing inflammation and all of that than to just rest
Hmm.
and you'll be fine. Um, I take even an extra rest day here or there. Now, granted, I'm not on such a steep trajectory as far as what muscle I'm trying to grow. Um, but I have, I'm tearing this seat up. I need to stop doing that. Um, where is I? Oh, I've even taken extra training days when we have a lot of travel. Um,
Mm.
so like today, I actually like the way that the travel schedule is. It's a rest day for me anyway. We fly out this evening. We'll get to Detroit at like 9 p.m. ish. So then I can go to sleep and recover and train well tomorrow. But if we're waking up at like 5 a.m. and we have a flight, including a layover, you're going to be dehydrated. Things are going to be off schedule, and then trying to get to your destination. I've done it many times, even just driving for 7 hours, getting there, getting unloaded, and then trying to make a pre-workout and go to the gym. It's going to be a subpar workout. It's better to just rest and have a better workout the next day and kind of adjust your schedule a little bit. Um, and I used to say, make it happen. And that's still true. But I think rest is much more important than a lot of people put emphasis on.
Yeah, I definitely agree, and my mind has changed on that as well because like especially with show travel, right? I would, travel, get there, then wake up super early, work, try to take a nap, then try to go to the gym, and then finally Jordan just told me, she's like, when you travel, get your cardio done because like you waking up at 3 a.m. and it's just kind of like, yeah, you're trying to do all the things, but what happens is it just ends up blowing my body out, and then I'm worse off than I was the first time. And then, like, trying to work out in a hotel gym, it's like, yes, I'll do it, absolutely, but it's like you have to kind of you got to figure it out what's going to work best for you because that was something that I really struggled with trying to get all the things in. But then I'm like, I feel like I look worse and feel worse. So what did we gain here? Not much.
Yeah, so like if you and I think it comes with time too, seeing how you feel, and like basing it off of like biofeedback. But if you, and this is kind of just in general, but if you don't feel like you need rest days, you probably aren't training hard enough.
Yeah. Because let me tell you, when my rest day rolls around, like this past Sunday, I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's like and you need to plan ahead also, to account for those. That way you're not taking 4 rest days in a row because your schedule got wanky and you didn't plan. But when I was counting out the days earlier this week, I was like trying to see if I needed to because I've been training one day on, one day off, one day on, one day off, but I'll put 2 days back to back if I need to, depending on travel. So that's what I was going to do, but it ended up today would be off anyway, so then I can train tomorrow and it works out. And then Saturday's off for the Detroit Pro. But if it had been the opposite, I would have adjusted so that it fell that way. but I would have needed to be on it like Monday, not figuring it out last night.
Hmm. Sunday was the first time, this is going to sound horrible, okay? But Sunday's the first time I had a true rest day. Like I did nothing. And the next day I woke up fresh as a daisy and I was kind of like, okay.
Ready to hit the floor going.
Yeah, because normally like if I don't have to work, then I'm like, well, I'm not working. I can go to the gym. I can do this. And I was just like, no, rest the body. And then when I checked in on Monday, I was like, oh, okay. Got it. Sit down. Sit down. Oh crap, I lost it. Let's see, not a question, but thank you for being a comfort show as someone who is thinking of competing. You are welcome. That's what we're here
I'm
for.
glad you like it here.
Yeah. What have been your favorite suit colors? Alexis, she's like a pack of Skittles at this point.
You know what? Let's use this for a little comment thing.
Okay.
So I talked to Krista a little bit about my general plan. I think so far my favorite fun color has been pink.
Hmm.
Um,
Love you in pink.
I really like it. And then my favorite surprise color was the blue.
Blue was a killer.
So last season, Krista, I asked for red, and she made me a new red suit that I haven't gotten to wear yet. And she gave me a second color because Toronto's backdrop is like solid red. So she was like, this isn't probably going to look that great. So I'll send you a surprise suit. And I truly thought it was going to be green because we had kind of thrown that color back and forth. And then she sent me blue. And at first I was like,
Yeah,
I'm
she
gonna
was not sure at first.
no, I
I
was
was
like
like, no, no,
sending
no, no.
Amber, I was like, put it on in all different lightings, like natural lighting in the living
Yeah,
room, bathroom lighting, lighting at the gym in the posing room. I was like, I don't know about this. And
she
Amber
was
was like,
not doing it.
blue. When she saw it in the posing room, she was like, let's do blue.
But
And then like Martin liked it and Boss was like, yeah, it looks great.
mhm. Mhm.
And then it was a hit. And like once I saw it in photos, I was like, oh,
It
I do.
photographs.
Yeah. So just which is makes sense because I've worn blue, like I've worn it in pageants. I just kind of, for some reason, it wasn't in my brain. And if it's
Yeah,
not something I'm anticipating, I'm definitely guarded against it.
that
Um,
that is very much you.
so I wore it all last season, so I'll probably take a little bit of a break from it.
Yeah.
Um, I have contemplated green.
Hmm. It'll look good.
So let me know if I should wear the red suit that I didn't wear last year,
Hmm.
or if Krista should make me a green suit.
Both. Krista,
Well, we're running out of I'm not doing 18 shows. So
I, I
I wanna bring the pink back for at least one show.
yeah, yeah. My favorite suit color will be the suit color that I wear this year, which nobody has seen. Alexis has seen it, but it is, I've never seen anybody wear it before. I got the idea, it was Arnold 2024. That's when you, me, and Olivia went. Yeah, Arnold 2024. And I
Mhm.
was talking to Krista about it. She said, okay. Then she sent me just like the fabric July 2024. And I was kind of like, oh my God, I don't know about this. And then I got my suit in November 2024. So I've had this suit for a minute now. And I tried it on yesterday just for fun. We're going to have to adjust because it's a little big in the waist. I'm just like, how is
Okay.
that possible?
Well,
We're
that's
gonna
because you brought your waist in so much.
yeah, no, totally. But I cannot wait for y'all to see this suit because yeah. And it's been so hard now it's like to keep it a secret.
When will I see you again?
That's a fantastic question. Pittsburgh.
Yes, bring it there. I'll fix it there.
Okay, yeah, yeah. I was gonna ask you to fix it because
Yeah, I know you
I
don't wanna
stay in my lane.
throw any stitches.
I stay in my lane. I can sew hair, but I don't wanna Let's see. What do Alexis's leg days look like compared to Amber's? That's a great question.
Mm. So right now, I focus mostly on I'm hitting glutes like my life depends on it.
Mhm.
Um, and I just rotate quad day, quad day, hamstring day, but on my quad days, it's mostly quad and glute, and then more glute exercises at the end of it.
Mhm.
I've needed to work on bringing my hamstrings up to match my quads, which they really do now. I
Mhm.
took check-ins this morning, so I'll send it to you. My
Yeah.
weight is up, but I have more tie-in, so it's stupid. Um,
The girl is dumb sometimes.
but I think I'm gonna start posting more on. Well, actually, I'm doing this today, it's on my to-do list. Broadcast channel that I'll post about, like, new things that are going on and stuff.
There you go.
Um, so then that way it's not, like, filling up your feed with that, but if you want the info, you can just join it,
Yeah.
um, on Instagram. But I think I'm gonna be a little bit more detailed on, like, what's trending, like, how weight is trending and stuff, because while I can, like, respond to that in check-ins, I know how frustrating it is when it happens to you, and I think if you see it occurring to someone else also, it's, like, makes it more normal
Yeah.
than your coach saying, like, "Yeah, this is expected." Like, it's not as soothing as seeing it in real time with someone else.
No, I agree, which is why I was at on Tuesday. I had a really tough day on Tuesday. And typically when I have tough days, I just kind of like fall off the face of the earth. But I made myself like make a story because it's just like it's important for people to know that this is a sucky day. I feel like absolute trash. I have no energy. And normally I could shake it. I couldn't shake it on Tuesday. It was just all day long. Bad, 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 bad. But my body's getting leaner. So, because like we know what's going on, but it doesn't take away from the fact that, hey, it's still sucky, but hey, you still got to keep it moving. So, I agree with sharing that stuff in real time. For me, right now, I hit lower body twice a week and I have glutes and legs now. So my programming actually changed. So as far as glutes, it's mainly more so like that isolation. We're just focusing on the upper outer glute the most. And now I am hitting quads, which I have not directly hit quads in I don't know how long. So that has definitely been different because I'm not used to my quads being sore. So recovering from that has been a little bit tricky. But yeah, obviously, I'm not banging out, the weight that Alexis is banging out because I'm just not that strong. But I don't really have a lot of hamstring focus because my hamstrings are basically like where they need to be. Like if I try to push them anymore, it'll be too much. Like right now, like even in my check-ins, I still have more body fat to get off, but they're very, very visible and prominent. And obviously in bikini, like that's the tricky thing. It's like you need hamstrings in bikini, but they don't want them to be dug out. And so when I look at my past photos, like I can see where we were kind of on that cusp. However, so that's why it's just like training for your physique and what you have going on. But that's the main differences.
Yeah, I hit them way more. Do you still do any upper or back or anything?
It's just like a pump. It's not like
Yeah, and I
anything.
don't touch mine at all. So
Yeah.
the most stimulation that my upper body gets is putting weights on the bar and on
Mhm.
machines. And I have gone back to RDL
Okay.
on the Pit Shark. So
Mhm.
I'm holding that. That's literally
Mm.
it.
Okay. Yeah. We've streamlined my upper body a ton. My waistline came in because we just took back out for a good bit. So now whenever I do hit back, like I'm just very, very cautious like of my erectors. Just making sure like those bad boys aren't getting engaged. And again, that's the thing. Like y'all will see like as you train, the longer you're in it, your training will adjust.
Yes.
Let's see. What's one thing you would change about the NPC? A lot. Okay, you might not like this. All the crossovers. That's a lot.
Yeah. I think I would agree with that. At least at the national level. I don't think you should be crossing over at the national level.
National level, you should know.
Um, I think Can you hear that?
A little bit. What did he say?
He's eavesdropping. He's he's basically saying more levels. So like a local show should then qualify you for regional level. Regional
Mm,
level should then qualify you for a national level.
work. Yeah.
I don't think I disagree with that. It wouldn't like impede the whole NPC as a business side of things. It would
Yeah.
really benefit it more because like you'd have to compete at more levels in order to get to that national level. And then I think it would make the national level a more clean, competitive level. Um, right now, there are the people who do one regional show, win because there's two girls in their class, and then go to the national show and get smoked and are disappointed with their placing and just have unrealistic expectations because it's so easy to an extent to get there. Um,
It's like you were never ready in the first place.
Yeah, or if we can't create new levels, then, like, it's not a national qualifier unless there's at least 5 girls in your class. Just
Mhm.
like you can't win a pro card
That's
unless
good.
there's 5 girls in your class.
That's good.
So, or at most national shows, it's like that now. Um, because you should like, I don't think you should automatically qualify because not enough entries occurred.
I agree. I agree. And that might be sucky, but I mean, because obviously, like, you're competing and you're hoping competition shows up that's out of your control. But I'm with you. And this is a hot take, and this is going to be more so on the IFBB side. And yeah, it's my division. I love bikini, but I wish there was something we could do about all of the bikini athletes at the Olympia. Like, I feel like there should be like some kind of like pre-realm situation where okay you got all these girls and then we're whoever is in the top 20 after that that's who's going because only 15 people are going to place so we got 40 like it's just too much. I think it's too
Well,
much.
last year, but there's like 62 bikini or
that's
something. It was around that number. Don't
that's
quote me. Do not
ridiculous.
holler at me for getting the number wrong. But it was pushing 60 for sure.
No.
So then prejudging just for the bikini class. So your routine can be 45 seconds at the Olympia.
Mhm.
And then you've got initial like preview where they're only going to bring out 8 max in groups. So that's 9 groups
Yeah.
or 8 groups, a lot. And then you're gonna do call outs, and you're not gonna call out more than 8 at a time. So that's still 7 rounds of call outs. So it's at least what? Pushing 3 hours for prejudging for
Yeah.
one division, at the most prestigious show of the year. It's
Seriously.
just like it's a little long, and I think some are gonna be like, "Oh, you deserve to be there." Sure, you did win a show, and I don't think that they should necessarily lessen how many pro shows there are because it makes it more attainable. There's different levels of pro
Yeah.
athletes, and like not everyone can afford to fly across the country during the time frame that fits their schedule.
Mhm.
So it makes it a little more realistic for some pro athletes to get on stage. Um, but I think there should almost be like maybe like a point system,
Or like a
like
pre-o or something.
not like the original. Yeah,
No, god no.
I don't know about the pre-O thing, so I'm thinking like there used to be when we had the point system, there was like a tier system also.
Yeah.
So like Tampa Pro is a tier 1 show. If you win a tier 1 show, you're automatically qualified for the Olympia. If
Mhm.
you win a tier 2 show, you get 3 points and you need 5 points to qualify or something like that. So you could win like 1 tier 1 level or win 2 shows that are tier 2. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So, because I mean, typically, y'all, at smaller shows, the competition is less aggressive, and that's
Yeah.
just how it is.
This is right.
Um, so I think that would limit it a little bit. Everyone can still compete. There's plenty of options of getting on stage, but there's not a 3-hour long prejudging for one division. And wellness is getting up there too. I mean, there was 37 girls in wellness last year, I think. So it took a long time.
Like that I don't know. I just have a hard time with it because if we're only going to be giving 15 places, It's like you got to kind
It's
of ask yourself, like,
3/4 of the lineup's not even going to finals. Only 10, right? Is it 10?
and yeah, top
10
10,
go to finals, so a sixth of the lineup goes to finals, which is I'm glad they do it like that, so
sure.
finals would go all night long. Um, I don't know. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I'm with you. I am with you. Let's see. Tips for my first wellness competition this year. I say this for, I mean, all athletes, no matter what your division is, for your first show, you only get one first show ever. That's it. And it's like now that I think about it, it's kind of that whole ignorance is bliss because once you know and you're aware of what's going on, I feel like that's when you start to put pressure on yourself. That's when you know what I mean? So that would be my advice. You only get one first show, so soak it in.
And do it right. So if finances are tight, wait. If you can't afford to buy a suit and you need to rent a suit, wait. That means finances are a bit too tight to be getting on stage. Um, unless you're a true makeup artist and then have also learned what stage makeup looks like, hire someone. Same thing with tan. Don't do your own tan the first show. If you are pasty, don't ever do your own tan, please. You can do layers leading up, but still get sprayed. Um, just do it right. It's an investment and it's a lot of money. The lifestyle itself is expensive. Getting on stage is even more expensive. And your first show you don't get back, like Amber said. So if you cut corners, it's gonna feel like you cut corners.
Mm-hmm. 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 Let's see.
And the makeup thing's coming from a girl who did her own makeup for a couple shows. And
Ah,
I know what stage makeup's supposed to look like.
yeah.
So I wouldn't do it again.
Yeah. I had a presentation consult last night with an athlete. She's doing fit model, and I was just very transparent with her because she's like in Iowa. So she's like, the makeup artist is slim picking out here. And her first time competing, she went with someone. She was just like, it just was not good. And so I told her, she's like, I like makeup. I do. She's like, I felt like I could have done a better job. And I was just very honest with her. I was like, in Iowa, I know the options are lacking. So for her small local show, I told her, it's like, do your own makeup. Just do it. I told her, understand that as you start moving up, that's when you want to pay. You know, just every area is different, but she's also fair skinned. And I asked her, I said, how many coats did they give you your first show? She's like, oh, they only did 2. And I said, okay, be mindful. Again, once you start going up, you need to be sprayed 3 times. She's like, no
Yeah.
one ever said anything to me
And
about
some of
that.
this is all like you don't know until you've tried it
Yeah.
and you adjust. But you have resources now that we didn't have 6 years ago. So
Mhm.
use them and take them into consideration.
Yes, and speaking of fair skin, this will this be out? No, this will be out afterwards. Never mind. I was going to say I have that fair skin webinar, but I also gave her the tip of you can do your own base coat and then have them spray over you as
Yeah,
well.
so that's what I just, was saying, like, don't do your own tan for your first show. If you're pasty, don't ever. But you can start warming up. So you can do, like, a coat Tuesday, rinse it, a coat Wednesday, rinse it, a coat Thursday, that's it. This is if you're super light. But then you're still gonna need 2 or 3 sprays total from the spraying company.
Yeah. Tips on softening hand motions when posing. I think that's just going to be a matter like just relax. Because sometimes I think when we you can kind of get just because you're
Yeah.
thinking. I think
And,
that's
like,
what
in some
happens.
poses, you do have more tension in some parts of your body than others, so it's getting used to what the pose is supposed to feel like and then trying to kind of relax areas that don't it's almost like disassociating instead of tensing everything because you're sitting into your hip.
Mhm.
The tension needs to be in your hip, it doesn't need to be in your fingers. So, creating the mind muscle connection and then relaxing the areas that don't need to be engaged, and that's just gonna come with practice and time.
Yep. 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 Though everyone varies, as does the look, do you know a ballpark body fat for wellness? Absolutely, I do not.
most ways that you have access to measure your body fat percentage are not accurate.
Yeah,
And if unless you do everything exactly the same, literally every single time that you do it, you're not gonna be able to measure it. So you need to look good on stage. You don't need to know a number.
yeah. I couldn't. I don't even know what my body fat is, was. I
No.
don't know.
I'll have some like consults that are like, my last show I was 14% body fat and I need to be leaner. So do you think we need to shoot around 9? And I'm like, I don't care. Like ignore all those numbers. Take those numbers out of your brain. They don't matter.
Doesn't matter at all. Because again, like, and even with that, the more muscle you have, it's going to be
Yeah.
different. Let's see, potential side effects of PEDs for someone considering short and long term.
It depends on each one.
That I was going to say it.
And they're different for everybody. So
Yeah,
you should
depends on what you're
talk to your coach about
taking.
what you're considering using.
Hmm.
And then just know that out of all of them, you might experience one heavily and none of the others, or you might experience them all in a very shallow form.
Yeah.
And it's not predictable. So that's the game that you play with rolling those dice.
Yeah, I mean, and I feel like at this point we're aware like some people get bad acne, some people I've found like just the oil in the scalp, you might have an oilier scalp. I know sometimes for the more muscular divisions, they might have some hair loss, um, voice changes. There's a lot of things,
Lady
but
part changes.
lately, I mean, listen, my lady part's changing. I'm out of here. Like, sorry, Naira, I got to go. Do you think a cheat meal here and there should be allowed in off season? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Um, I program them for most of my clients.
sure.
Some get more than one.
Hmm.
Um, I think long term, you need some like freedom in some area. So for some people, that might just be a macro count in your off season, making sure that you hit it like meal plan style for the most part. But if you have a baby shower, you can adjust it a little bit to eat pulled pork
Yeah,
at the baby shower, whatever. Um, or like date nights or family events, holidays and stuff. Um, I don't think it should ever be no free meal ever. I think
yeah,
that's a good way to create an eating disorder.
100%. 100%. Now, if you're in a situation where your coach is taking away your cheat meals, then you might need to ask yourself, are you doing something on the back end you're
Are
not
you
being
having too many cheat meals and you
honest? Yes, yes.
the last 4 months for the whole year?
Yeah, yeah, because that's something that sometimes we don't like to talk about. Is like, if you're not staying on plan throughout the week, then you don't need a cheat meal on the weekend.
Yeah, it's already kind of calculated into what you're already doing.
100%. So that was that. Favorite piece of advice about bodybuilding as a whole, and who was it from? I mean, it was very, very simple. It wasn't groundbreaking. It was, you are glowing, keep going, don't give up. And that was from Laura Lee after I won my first win in Pittsburgh, 2022. That's
I
simple.
think, it's you choose to do this. Like, that's just very straightforward. You it's gonna be hard and you're gonna have grouchy times and stuff, but you guys know I struggled with being a pissy pants my first couple preps when things would get rough, and that changed my perspective because, like, it sucking doesn't change. Like, it's gonna suck, but that doesn't give you the right to be grouchy or, like, ruin someone else's day because your mood is sucky. Um, so you choose to do it and find a way for yourself to get through it. For me, it's just, like, getting quiet. Because if I
Mhm.
don't have anything nice to say, I just don't say anything.
And that's the best thing to do. Like, that's how I am. If I'm quiet, I'm protecting my people from me because I'm not well. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
and so
sometimes
sometimes, like, your people will learn what your responses are too,
Mhm.
um, and, like, for me, once I kind of implemented that and tried to be more conscious, um, after I did the Arnold, we would like in Virginia, we would do these, like, celebration dinners, at sushi every once in a while when, like, someone did something cool or whatever, like, something exciting was going on, we'd all get together for dinner. Um, so we did it after the Arnold, and I, like, brought a scale and was weighing my sushi because it was starting peak week for the Samson, and Patrick was like, halfway through dinner, he was like, "You're in peak week? You've been so pleasant." And I was like,
Ooh,
it was like a gold star for me
yeah.
because usually I'd be like, "I don't know, y'all are eating nice rolls and I'm getting sashimi."
Don't look at me.
So, like, that worked for me. So over the years, you'll get better at things, but also, like, let yourself appreciate when you realize you're doing good too.
Mhm, mhm. Tips for first show tan and how to manage it. I know I'm going to say this and easier said than done. I think a lot of athletes tend to stress out a lot over the tan. And it's just kind of like, here's the thing, there's always somebody there to fix it, especially if you get sprayed.
Well,
Someone
and
can fix
it's like one way or the other. Either you're super stressed about it or
it.
you are not worried about it enough.
Mhm, mhm,
You need
100.
the tan, it needs to look good, but there's not a whole lot they can do to actually truly ruin it. They might just have to respray you or roll you out or, like, whatever, so the biggest inconvenience is having to go back to another appointment or, like, get backstage early so that they can fix it. um, I think the biggest advice is do your skin prep. If you're not exfoliating and shaving where you need to shave, um, that's what's gonna mess it up from laying correctly.
Yep. I'm getting ready to do a YouTube video on body care for bodybuilders. So that way y'all can like get your life and get your skin right because it matters. And like that's the thing that frustrates me because like I see an athlete who has an amazing physique. They've done all the things, and then their tan is wonky. Like I can look at someone's skin and tell if the quality of their skin is good or not. You know, so it's just like it's dry, it's patchy. You can see like all the spots and the dots. It's like you did all this work, but you didn't take care of your skin. Like that's easy. That's easy, you know? Just obviously make sure you have something to wear after you get sprayed. Don't wear anything red, it's going to ruin the tan. When you go to sleep, don't worry about it, just go to sleep, because I think that might be the one thing that stresses people out. They're like, oh, I have a tan on, how do I sleep?
They're, like, trying to sleep like this.
Yeah, yeah, I do. Which I mean, I hate it. First of all, make sure your room is ice cold. That's just good for your body, and you do because you do not want to be sweating in the middle of the night with your tan
With
off.
your
That's
tan on, then you're sticky, it's getting on the sheets, and
a mess.
I think for me, it helps if I wear, like, I need to get a new one because 'cause I've kind of outgrown my old one, but, like, silk pajamas don't really stick as much,
Mhm.
and if you can do, like, a silk long sleeve and pajama pants, the silk keeps you from
What
getting
I
too hot, so they can be long sleeve, but then you're not, like, sticking to yourself. And the worst thing that I'll wake up with is, like, a forearm mark across my
Yeah. Yep.
because 'cause I'm a
That
wild sleeper.
that happened to me last show. I had, like, tan on my jawline. I was like, "Alright, we're just gonna have to blend that out
Yeah.
because it's not budging." Let's see, we'll do a couple more. How slow does cardio get decreased and food get bumped post-show? That's going that's one of those questions where we can't say for sure because it's different for everybody. I know for me, peak week, I'm not doing any cardio. If anything, like my coach might say, just go walk around just to get some movement, but I'm
Yeah.
not doing cardio on peak week. And then I'm also like, I do deplete, and depletion process is up. I hate it, but it's whatever. You got to flatten out. Then I'm fed a lot into the show. And then for me, we try to get to maintenance as quick as possible because that's just going to keep me from feeling like I'm starving and wanting to binge out. But it's
Yeah.
different for everybody.
So the last couple preps, boss has liked to like pull my cardio like 2-ish weeks out if we
That's
can.
beautiful.
And then he doesn't put any back in post show.
Mhm.
But prior preps, I'd have it pulled hopefully in peak week. And then we'd put it back in some post show because you can't just go from like 2 hours to 0.
Right.
Um, and then we'd slowly taper it down. But usually we would pull cardio down before we bumped calories a lot. So then the diet was really hard to stick to, just for me personally. So it's going to depend on your coach's approach and then what works for you. If you're someone who's competed before in the past and you've had a not so great reverse a couple of times, maybe take a different approach this time.
Yeah. Yep, yep, yep. And then just like with bodybuilding, it's different for everybody. So you can't, Do judges care about implants versus natural? Does it affect your score? It does not affect your score. I will say this because this is something that I have been noticing a lot, especially just like with bikini. Um, you don't get marked down if you don't have implants. Laura Lee, Miss Olympia, doesn't have implants.
Jazzy was third.
Jazzy doesn't have implants. Vanya's won 3 Arnold. She doesn't have implants. So it doesn't affect you. On the flip side, what I have seen is when girls get implants and they get them too big, it can distort your
It can,
physique.
yeah, it'll mess up the symmetry.
Yeah,
Um, I stuff my top. Amber doesn't. I stuff it because I like how it looks better. I also think because my upper body is structured the way that it is,
makes sense.
it helps. But I don't need so much boob that I need to get implants.
Right. Yeah.
I
And
just push what I got left.
yeah, it's all based on your structure. Because when I stuffed mine, I felt like I looked stupid, and I was like, But then, like with Krista's tops, like the padding is so good, where I was just kind of like, honestly, like it looks for my structure, it looks fine. So, and then, what is the most expensive part of prep? Everything.
I would say like the day-to-day stuff. So like your membership, your gym membership, body work, it should
Hmm.
be something that's regular in your schedule, and then the
Chiropractor.
diet because you're eating whole foods. We're not just fitting whatever meat is on sale. We're eating chicken. If you move to white fish and don't like tilapia, that's not cheap. Um, so I think those things add up. Show itself is expensive. Um, you can typically plan ahead for that. Um, as far as like how much it's going to cost, but the day-to-day stuff you can't predict exactly. Like groceries might not be only $100 every week. It might be more depending on how prices adjust. So I would say the day-to-day stuff.
Yeah, I would agree. And I'm glad you said tilapia because I'm out and I need to get some. Put that on my Instacart order. And that is all of the questions. Did I miss? Yep, that's it. All right, y'all. So thank you so much for listening. Get on AlexisA's schedule for posing. Get on my schedule for stage clam. Alexis is taking lifestyle, fit model, bikini, and wellness. I am taking lifestyle, fit model, and bikini. And we will both be in Pittsburgh. So if any of y'all are in Pittsburgh, please come say hey. And that's it. You got anything else?
I don't think so.
Thanks for listening, y'all.
Bye.